Here is the topic today, Beyond the Borders of Clay. We will look at faith, identity, and the universality of true worship. There is a question many believers of African descent encounter today. Why do you believe in a white man's religion? Sometimes it is framed differently. Christianity was used to control people. You've abandoned your ancestral identity. These questions often emerge from real historical wounds. History is complex, and honest people must acknowledge that. Human beings have always mixed wisdom with error, noble intentions with flawed actions. But there is a deeper question beneath all of these debates. Does the origin of the messenger determine the truth of the message? If a message is true, it remains true regardless of who carries it. The Bible teaches that truth is communicated through people, but its source is God. Human beings may carry the message, but they do not create it. If we limit faith to geography, ethnicity, or culture, we reduce something eternal to something merely tribal. Three realities Jesus pointed toward throughout the Gospels. Jesus repeatedly used the phrase, "A time is coming." He was directing people beyond the present moment and toward deeper spiritual realities. Three of those realities remain profoundly relevant today. 1. The reality of true worship. Jesus taught that worship would no longer be confined to specific locations, tribes, or traditions. 2. The reality of resurrection. Human life is more than the physical body. Our ultimate hope is not found in earthly identity, but in eternal life. 3. The reality of persecution. Believers often face challenges, not only physical opposition, but intellectual and cultural pressures that question their faith and identity. And it is the first reality, true worship, that speaks directly to today's conversation. The woman at the well, a debate about place and identity. In John chapter 4, Jesus meets a Samaritan woman at a well. Very quickly, the conversation turns into a debate about ancestry, culture, and sacred geography. The woman says, "Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you say that Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship." It sounds remarkably familiar. Our ancestors did it this way. Your people do it that way. Whose tradition is right? But notice how Jesus responds. He does not enter a cultural competition. He does not glorify one ethnicity over another. Instead, he says, "A time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. True worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth." In that moment, Jesus dismantled the idea that access to God belongs to a particular tribe, location, or people group. True worship would no longer be defined by a mountain, a city, or a racial identity. It would be defined by a relationship with God. Beyond geography, beyond race, the God described by Jesus is spirit. And if God is spirit, he cannot be confined to any single culture. He is not owned by Europe. He is not owned by Africa. He is not owned by Asia, America, or any civilization. He is the creator of all people. To reduce faith in God to a racial category is to shrink the Creator into a tribal figure. The message of Christ reaches beyond borders because it addresses the deepest need common to every human being, the need for reconciliation with God. Conclusion: the spirit above the clay. Every one of us lives in a body shaped by a particular culture, language, and history. Those things matter, but they are not ultimate. What matters most is the spirit within the clay. Faith is not an abandonment of identity, it is the awakening of the human spirit to its creator. When we stand before God, the defining question will not be where we came from geographically, but whether we responded to his truth. So do not get lost in arguments about race, territory, or ancestry. It's unchristian-like to do it, no matter how you're drawn to it. Look beyond the clay, seek the spirit, worship in spirit and in truth, because true worship has no tribe and God's invitation belongs to every human soul.